This is Richard Goddard, 28 years old, standing in a Denver, Colorado courtroom, his lawyer beside him, the judge looking down from the bench. And across Richard's forehead in large black letters is a tattoo, KRUD. Those 4 letters destroyed his life, cost him his job, his relationship, his dignity, and brought him to this courtroom seeking justice against the radio station that he claims ruined everything. But here's the twist. The radio station says Richard got exactly what he deserved, that he's an idiot who didn't read the rules, that this whole case is his own fault. The question is, who's right? Is this a case of corporate fraud and false advertising, or is this a cautionary tale about reading the fine print? Welcome to one of the strangest legal cases in Colorado history, a case about desperation, deception, and the permanent consequences of impulsive decisions. This story starts 3 months ago, January 2024. Richard Goddard is working as an assistant manager at a sporting goods store in Aurora, Colorado, making $42,000 a year, living in a rental, dating his girlfriend Sarah for 2 years. Life isn't perfect, but it's stable. Timestamp 00/01/30/00/0315. Then Richard gets a phone call that changes everything. His mother, Carol Goddard. "Richard, we need to talk, it's about the house." Richard's parents live in Littleton, Colorado, suburban neighborhood, 3-bedroom ranch house. They've owned it for 30 years, raised Richard and his sister there. It's their retirement security. But Carol explains the problem. Richard's father, Tom, had a stroke 6 months ago. Medical bills piled up. They refinanced the house to pay them. Now they're 3 months behind on the new mortgage. The bank is threatening foreclosure. "How much do you owe?" Richard asks. $180,000 on the mortgage. We need about $15,000 to get current and avoid foreclosure. Richard doesn't have $15,000, he has $3,200 in savings. He offers it all. His mother refuses. "We can't take your savings, honey, we'll figure something out." But Richard can't sleep that night. His parents raised him, supported him, now they need help and he can't provide it. The next morning, January 15th, 2024, Richard is driving to work. Radio on, KRUD 103.5 FM, Denver's wildest rock station. The morning DJ, a guy who calls himself Mad Mike, makes an announcement. "All right, Denver, you want to win $250,000. Here's what you gotta do. Be the first listener to tattoo the letters KRUD across your forehead. That's right, permanent ink are called letters on your face. First person to do it and prove it wins $250,000. No joke, details on our website, krud.com. Go." Richard almost swerves off the road. $250,000, that would save his parents' house, pay off the mortgage, give them security for the rest of their lives. He pulls over, calls the radio station immediately. A man answers. "KRUD 103.5, you're on the air." "Hi, I'm calling about the tattoo contest. Is this real?" "Absolutely real, buddy. $250,000. First person with KRUD tattooed across their forehead wins. Check the website for details." Timestamp 00/05/00/000645. Richard opens his phone, goes to KRUD.com. There's a banner across the top. Win $250,000. Get KRUD on your forehead. He clicks it. The page loads. Large text. "Be the first listener to permanently tattoo KRUD across your forehead and win $250,000. Contest ends March 1 SD 2024. Proof required. See official rules." There's a link at the bottom, official rules, small text, blue hyperlink. Richard doesn't click it, he's already made his decision. This is the answer, this is how he saves his parents. He calls his girlfriend Sarah. "I'm going to do something crazy, but it's going to save my parents' house." "What are you talking about?" "There's a radio contest, $250,000 if I tattoo the station's call letters on my forehead." Silence. Then, "Richard, are you insane? A tattoo on your face?" "It's $250,000, Sarah. My parents are going to lose their house. This solves everything." "Richard, don't do this. There has to be another way." "There isn't. I'm doing it. I'll call you later." He hangs up, drives to Ink Masters, a tattoo parlor in downtown Denver. walks in at 9:47 a.m. The tattoo artist, a guy named Marcus, looks up from the counter. "Help you. I need a tattoo across my forehead, the letters KRUD large, black, permanent." Marcus stares at him. "You're serious?" "Completely serious. How much?" "Man, I gotta tell you, face tattoos are permanent, especially the forehead. You sure about this?" "I'm sure. How much?" $500, but I need you to sign a waiver, acknowledging you understand this is permanent and might affect your employment and social life. Richard signs without reading, pays $500 cash, sits in the chair. 2 hours later, it's done. KRUD large block letters, black ink spanning his entire forehead, impossible to miss, impossible to hide. Richard looks in the mirror. For a second, reality hits. What has he done? But then he thinks about his parents, about the $250,000. It's worth it. He takes photos, multiple angles, proof for the radio station, then he drives straight to KRUD's studio, downtown Denver, 9th floor of an office building. He walks into the reception area. The receptionist, a woman in her 20s, looks up and gasps. "Oh my God. I'm here about the contest, the tattoo contest. I did it. I'm the first one." She stares at his forehead. "Hold on, let me get management." 5 minutes later, a man in his 40s appears. Steve Wilson, station manager. He looks at Richard's forehead and his face goes pale. Timestamp 00/10/15/00/12/00. "Sir, what is that?" "Your contest. I tattooed KRUD on my forehead. I'm the first one. I win $250,000. Wilson shakes his head slowly. "Sir, did you read the official rules?" "I saw the contest page. It said first person to tattoo KRUD on their forehead wins $250,000. Did you click on the official rules link?" "No, why?" Wilson pulls out his phone, opens the KRUD website, clicks the official rules link, shows Richard the screen. In large text, April FOOLS, this contest is fake. Do not actually get a tattoo. KRUD 103.5 is not responsible for any actions taken based on this joke contest. Richard feels the room spin. What? It was an April Fool's joke. We announce it every year. The official rules page clearly states it's fake. But it's January. We start promoting it early to see if anyone's dumb enough to actually do it. The rules page has been up since day one. If you'd clicked it, you'd have known. Timestamp 00/12/00/00/1345. Richard's voice rises. You said on air it was real. The DJ confirmed it. The DJ said check the website for details. The details include the official rules, which state it's a joke. The link was small. I didn't see it. That's not our problem. We clearly disclosed this was a prank. You chose not to read the rules. Richard's hands are shaking. I did this to save my parents' house. I have a permanent tattoo on my forehead. Wilson shrugs. Again, not our problem. We're not paying $250,000 for a fake contest. I suggest you consult a lawyer about tattoo removal. Richard is escorted out of the building. He sits in his car, stares at himself in the rearview mirror, KRUD, permanent on his forehead. His phone rings. Sarah. Did you win? Richard starts crying. Timestamp 00/1345/00/1530. 2 days later, Richard's life has completely fallen apart. His boss at the sporting goods store calls him into the office. Richard, we need to talk about your appearance. It's for a contest. I'm going to win money. Did you win? Silence. Richard, you know our policy, professional appearance. Visible tattoos are one thing, but a face tattoo with someone else's brand, we can't have you working customer-facing positions. So put me in the stockroom. We don't have a stockroom position available. I'm sorry, Richard, we have to let you go. Richard loses his job 2 days after getting the tattoo. Sarah breaks up with him that same night. I can't do this, Richard. You made an insane decision without thinking, and now you have someone else's brand tattooed on your face forever. I can't be with someone who does something like that. Timestamp 00/1530/00/1715. Richard consults 3 tattoo removal specialists. All 3 say the same thing: forehead tattoos are extremely difficult to remove, multiple sessions, painful, expensive, and might leave permanent scarring. Estimated cost $15,000 to $25,000, with no guarantee of complete removal. Richard doesn't have $15,000, he just lost his job. He consults a personal injury attorney, Daniel Harris, free consultation. Harris listens to the story, looks at Richard's forehead, reviews the KRUD website screenshots. "Do you have a case?" Richard asks desperately. "Maybe. It's complicated. On one hand, they did clearly state in the official rules that it was a joke. On the other hand, the main contest page made it look completely legitimate, and the DJ confirmed it was real on the phone. So I can sue them." "You can try, but it's going to be expensive, and there's no guarantee you'll win." Timestamp 00-17-15-00-1900. Harris agrees to take the case on contingency, meaning he only gets paid if they win. They file a lawsuit in Denver District Court. Richard Goddard v. KRUD Broadcasting Inc. The lawsuit alleges false advertising, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud, negligent misrepresentation. Richard is seeking $510,000, $250,000 for the promised prize, $250,000 for emotional distress and damages, $10,000 for tattoo removal costs. The case goes viral immediately. Man sues radio station after getting face tattoo for fake contest. Media outlets everywhere cover it. Public opinion is divided. Some people sympathize with Richard. The radio station tricked him, took advantage of his desperation. Others mock him mercilessly. He didn't read the rules, that's his own fault. Who tattoos their face without doing research? The case goes to trial 6 weeks later, March 2024, Judge Patricia Morrison presiding. The courtroom is packed. Media, spectators, everyone wants to see the guy with KRUD tattooed on his forehead. Richard takes the stand. His attorney Harris examines him. "Mr. Goddard, why did you enter this contest?" Richard explains his father's stroke, the medical bills, the mortgage, the foreclosure threat. "I found out they were running a contest where the first listener to tattoo the letters KRUD on their forehead would win $250,000. I called the radio station and spoke with a gentleman who confirmed the offer was legitimate. He directed me to the contest page." "And what did that page say?" "Be the first listener to tattoo KRUD across your forehead and win $250,000, which is what I did." "Did you see the official rules link?" "It was too small for me to see. I was on my phone. The link was at the bottom in small text. I didn't notice it." Timestamp 00-2045-00-2230. Harris presents evidence, screenshots of the contest page, showing how prominent the prize offer was, how small the official rules link was, audio recording of Mad Mike's on-air announcement, making it sound completely legitimate. "Your Honor, the defendants created the appearance of a legitimate contest. They promoted it extensively. When my client called to verify, they confirmed it was real. They never mentioned it was a joke. They never warned him, and now his life is destroyed." KRUD's attorney, Jennifer Walsh, presents their defense. "Your Honor, Mr. Goddard is seeking over $500,000 because he didn't read the rules. That's what this comes down to. We had a clearly visible link to official rules. That link clearly stated this was an April Fool's joke. Mr. Goddard chose not to click it. That's his responsibility, not ours." Walsh plays video deposition of Steve Wilson, the station manager. "We run joke contests all the time. It's part of our brand. We're the wild rock station. Our listeners understand we're irreverent. And we always include official rules that clarify what's real and what's not." Timestamp 00-2230-00-2415. "But Mr. Goddard called your station to verify," Harris counters. "Your employee told him it was legitimate." Walsh shakes her head. "Our employee said to check the website for details. The details include the official rules, which Mr. Goddard ignored." The judge asks Richard directly, Mr. Goddard, when you called the station, did they specifically tell you to read the official rules? Richard thinks they said to check the website for details. But did they say to read the official rules specifically? No, Your Honors. And when you went to the website, did you see the official rules link? It was very small, Your Honor, I didn't notice it. Judge Morrison looks at the screenshots. The official rules link is indeed small, but it's there, clearly labeled. Mr. Goddard, how old are you? 28, Your Honor. And you have a high school education? Yes, Your Honor. Timestamp 00/24/15/00/26/00. So you're an adult with basic reading comprehension skills, and you made the decision to permanently tattoo your face based on a contest you found on a rock station's website without reading the complete rules. Richard's voice cracks. Your Honor, I lost my job because of this. My girlfriend broke up with me. This tattoo may not even be possible to remove completely. My life is destroyed. I understand that, Mr. Goddard, and I sympathize, but this court has to determine legal responsibility, not just who we feel sorry for. The judge calls a 15-minute recess. When she returns, she has her decision. I've reviewed all the evidence, and this is a difficult case. On one hand, KRUD Broadcasting created a contest that appeared legitimate on the surface. Their promotional materials were convincing. On the other hand, they did include an official rules page that clearly disclosed this was a prank. Richard holds his breath. Timestamp 00/26/00/00/27:45. The question is whether KRUD did enough to warn potential participants, and I find that they did not. While they included an official rules link, that link was not sufficiently prominent. A reasonable person viewing that contest page on a mobile device might easily miss the small text link at the bottom. Richard's attorney looks hopeful. Furthermore, when Mr. Goddard called the station to verify, the employee had an obligation to clearly warn him this was a joke. Simply saying, check the website, is not sufficient when you know someone might permanently disfigure themselves based on your promotion. Therefore, I find against the defendants, in favor of Mr. Goddard. Richard almost collapses with relief. However, the judge continues, Mr. Goddard bears significant responsibility for his own situation. He made an impulsive decision without proper research. He didn't read the complete contest rules. He got a permanent face tattoo without consulting a lawyer first. Timestamp 00/27:45:00:29:30. Therefore, I'm not awarding the full amount requested. I'm awarding $250,000 for the promised contest prize because I find KRUD's contest promotion was misleading enough to constitute false advertising. I'm awarding $10,000 for tattoo removal costs, but I'm denying the emotional distress damages because Mr. Goddard's own negligence contributed significantly to his situation. Total judgment, $260,000. Richard starts crying. It's not the $510,000 he asked for, but it's enough. Enough to save his parents' house, enough to get the tattoo removed, enough to start rebuilding his life. KRUD's attorney stands. Your Honor, we intend to appeal this decision. That's your right, but until the appeal is decided, the judgment stands. The courtroom erupts, media rushing out to file stories, Richard's parents sitting in the gallery crying with relief. But there's someone else in the courtroom, a woman in the back row, Sarah, Richard's ex-girlfriend. She'd been watching the whole trial. Timestamp 00/29:30:00:31:15. After the verdict, Sarah approaches Richard in the hallway. I saw the trial. Sarah, You won, I'm glad. Does this mean? No, Richard, it doesn't mean we're getting back together. You still made an insane decision. The fact that a judge agreed the radio station was partially at fault doesn't change that you permanently tattooed your face for money. I did it for my parents. I know, and that's noble, but it was also reckless, and I can't be with someone who makes decisions like that. She walks away. Richard watches her go. His attorney approaches. We won, but KRUD is appealing. This could drag out for months, maybe years. What are my chances on appeal? 50-50, the judge made a reasonable decision, but appeals courts sometimes overturn things, especially in cases with split liability like this. Timestamp 0031-15-00-33-00. 6 months pass, the case goes to the Colorado Court of Appeals, 3-judge panel. They uphold the lower court's decision. KRUD Broadcasting is ordered to pay Richard Goddard $260,000 plus legal fees. KRUD considers appealing to the Colorado Supreme Court, but their attorneys advise against it. The case has already generated terrible publicity. Continuing the fight would make them look worse. They pay the judgment, $260,000. Richard receives the money in July 2024. He immediately pays off his parents' mortgage, $180,000. His parents can keep their house, they're safe. The remaining $80,000 he puts toward tattoo removal. He's now undergone 6 sessions. The tattoo is fading, but it's still visible, will probably always be visible to some degree. He's found a new job, working remotely as a data entry specialist, $35,000 a year, less than he made before. But employers who only see him on video don't care about his forehead. Timestamp 003300003500. KRUD Broadcasting changed their contest policies. Now all promotional materials must include prominent disclaimers. Official rules apply. See website for complete details, in text that's actually readable. They stopped running fake contests entirely. The bad publicity wasn't worth it. Mad Mike, the DJ who announced the original contest, left the station, found a job at a different rock station in Phoenix. He told reporters he felt terrible about what happened to Richard. Richard's story became a case study in law schools, about false advertising, about assumption of risk, about where the line is between corporate pranks and consumer fraud. Today, Richard Goddard is 29 years old, still living in Aurora, Colorado, still working his remote job, still single, still undergoing tattoo removal treatments. His parents call him every week, thank him for saving their house, tell him he's their hero. Richard doesn't feel like a hero. He feels like someone who made a terrible decision and got lucky that a judge partially agreed with him. The KRUD tattoo on his forehead has faded from solid black to light gray. In certain lighting you can barely see it, in other lighting it's still obvious. When people ask about it, Richard tells them the truth. I did something incredibly stupid. I won a lawsuit because the company was partially at fault, but I'm still living with the consequences. This is the story of Richard Goddard and the $250,000 tattoo that destroyed and then partially saved his life. A cautionary tale about desperation, fine print, and permanent decisions made in temporary moments. Justice was served. The radio station paid. Richard's parents kept their house, but the tattoo remains, fading slowly, a reminder that will last decades. Some decisions can't be undone. Some ink stays in your skin. And sometimes, even when you win in court, you still lose in life. Richard Goddard won $260,000, but he lost his job, his girlfriend, and his unmarked face. Was it worth it? He saved his parents, but he's still not sure if the trade was fair. This is the story of when a joke contest became a legal nightmare, when corporate irresponsibility met personal desperation, and when a judge had to decide who was more wrong, the company that promoted a fake contest or the man who didn't read the fine print before permanently disfiguring himself. The answer, as it turned out, was both.